I was always an outcast. I was always a weird kid. My height was always something that kind of nagged me in the back of my ear. I'm Dynzell Sigers. I'm 28 years old. I'm currently located in Atlanta, Georgia. I broke the bones in my upper and lower legs to increase my height by 4 inches in my upper legs and then another 3 inches in my lower legs. In order to reach the height I'm at now, it took a total of 4 procedures. So the procedure is to break the bone and put the devices in on my upper leg first, and then to remove it, called limb lengthening surgery. That I spent 8 years in the military, but it is extremely painful. Some people who went through the surgery will call it unbearable. Myself, I would rate it, if I had to scale it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate it about a 4 or 5. It was very annoying, especially the first 2 weeks where all the swelling and bleeding occurred. But honestly, I've been through worse, so I would call it durable for myself. It was mainly used on like military vets or people who had issue with their height, like, or limb discrepancies. Is just more recently over the last few years become more of a cosmetic surgery. So for me personally, the reason I got the surgery done is because I always felt like I could be better. Like my height was always something that kind of nagged me in the back of my ear. It was really my one real insecurity that I had throughout the course of my life. I've always been surrounded by taller men in the military. All the men in my family are tall. I just hated being short, and I wanted to see what life was like on the other side. Growing up, I don't know if I was treated differently because of my height or just because I was a different child. Up until I was about 13 or 12, I was bullied. I was always an outcast. I was always a weird kid. They would always call me Oreo, and I didn't fit in with the kids around me, so I was always like ostracized and secluded, which definitely had a heavy effect on me growing up. I never felt like I fit in anywhere until like I really started meeting more people like me and experiencing the world. I didn't really start to make friends until I was about 13 or 14 years old. And a lot of times these people were drawn to me because I started doing things for attention. Like I started getting in a lot of trouble. I started doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. It's been rough. It's definitely been rough. I broke my legs and then stretched the bone out. It's definitely been a mental challenge. I've now been going through it's been an entire year now. I have to do the things I need to do or I won't walk properly again. Recovery on average takes 6 months to a year. What I try to explain to people now is the surgery it helped boost my confidence. Still had to learn self-appreciation. I had to learn self-value and overcome a lot of mental hurdles that I still was struggling from as a child. Like I'm an entirely different person, but this has also been something I've been building up to for years. Like I move the room when I walk into a room. I'm very open. I'm very willing to talk to people. I smile a lot more than I've ever smiled, and people actually call me charismatic now, which I've never really been called often throughout the course of my life. I started rapping after I went through a pretty bad divorce and I lost my grandmother and I had no way to vent. So I really started rapping and just trying to process my thoughts. It started off as poetry and just progressed into me making actual music. I've loved music and writing music since I was a child. I'm getting ready to put out so much music. I've been recording, I'm in the studio every day, but I love it though. This is the life I wanted for myself. You really have to learn to love yourself and find self-appreciation and then add on to it. So like a lot of people say, get women, get cars, get money. I have a lot of these things and they didn't bring fulfillment, and even the surgery didn't bring fulfillment. I had to learn to really uncover everything that was like holding me back as a man. And once I did that, I was able to grow in my confidence as a man way more than just with the surgery. I put myself at risk, but I really wanted it. So it's something you have to really want. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anyone break your spirit. Don't let anyone break your confidence. I say, find yourself as an artist, find your message and give it 100% and don't look back.